Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to Dr. Takim. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Nasrullah bin Ibrahim and my matrix number is D052010127. And in this forum, I'm supposed to be as a moderator for the forum. So before we start the forum, let me introduce to you all the panel themselves. And first of all, let me introduce our first panel, which is Haziq Hakimi bin Hamdan, represent student that will speak about advantages of online learning. The second is if Muhammad Irfan bin Sufyan that will play a role as a teacher or the lecturer. The third is Muhammad Fakrul Ikhwan bin Bazli that will represent as a parent. And the second last is Muhammad Amirul Hakim bin Jamaluddin that will supposed to be student, and we will talk about disadvantages of online learning. And the lastly is Muhammad Akif bin Muhammad Sis that will play a role as a student that will supposed to give a speech about a suggestion of online learning. Okay, so first as a moderator, let me brief the main objective of the forum. Today, the forum are supposed to discuss the hot topic during the pandemic era, which is online learning. Online learning is education that takes place over the internet. It is often referred to as e-learning among other terms. We all know the online learning became the common things for students right now. Not only for primary school or secondary school, university students also not miss to be on the part of the online learning. So without wasting time anymore, we continue the forum to our first panel, which is Haziq Hakimi bin Hamdan that will talk about advantages of online learning. So we continue with Muhammad Haziq.
Okay, thank you Nasrullah for giving me space to talk about the inside the forum. So recently we know that there is a lot of things that happened during this pandemic, and this pandemic also make a huge impact onto all of the environment in our country, and one of them was education. So during this pandemic, we know that the government has to change the styles of learning education, which was from the regular classes that was made face-to-face into the online learning education that was made online by using devices such as phones or laptops. So, as a student, we can actually see that the method of online learning has given a different atmosphere and also give some effects that were actually advantage for us. So as we go back to the questions that have been asked by Nasrullah, what was the benefits of the online learning educations? So, first of all, it will add flexibility and self-paced learning. Not many people have much time to go or focus in the regular class, especially if they are from work, to commit to a full-time graduate program. For those who still need to juggle working and going back to school, the flexibility of an online program provides individuals with the opportunity to learn while still working and growing professionally. So, with that, they can make their own schedule and will organize their time properly. Additionally, students don't always feel comfortable asking professors to repeat a point they made in their last lecture or dive into the deeper details on a specific topic. So when learning online, we can revisit past material or stop the lecture to perform additional research or organize notes that has been given, or we can make the notes on ourselves. We also can work through the lesson plan at our own pace to ensure that we are really mastering the material before moving on to the next class or section. These added flexibilities allow online learners to move through the coursework at their own speed and get the most out of the educational program. So the second was the benefit of the online learning is to improve virtual communication and collaboration. Learning to work with others in a virtual environment can make you a more effective leader. You will develop critical leadership skills by utilizing specialized knowledge, creating efficient process, and making decisions about mass communication practice, such as what should be discussed in person or electronically. In an online program, you will also participate in discussion boards with your classmates, communicate with professors via email or messages, and collaborate through various software programs. As the program progresses, you will get better at pitching your ideas and making strong, succinct, professional arguments with text. Participating in discussion boards is a lot like participating in virtual teams. Communicating your ideas clearly, getting responses, and projecting a professional image are necessary skills in a virtual workplace. Instructors such as managers expect you to write respectful, thoughtful, and polite communications, respond to different perspectives, and build a rapport with your peers. Luckily, in online program, we refine this skill quickly. And last point is, it will refine your critical thinking skills. Online learning facilitates the ability to think critically about what you do every day. A goal in the regular classes is to challenge you to think differently. And in the future, employers want you to do that too, to think critically in your role at work. So, by improving the skills, it will help you to master the skills and you will become a professional employee in the future. The more you practice, the sooner you will adapt and master those skills. Critical thinking plays a role in any type of education. However, online learning forces you to develop your critical thinking skills in ways that you might not have practiced in an in-person classroom setting, just like Q&A. When the lecturer tries to ask you a question about a topic that have been learned, we, as a student, need to think quickly to give the best answer for their questions. So, this sort of self-paced and self-motivated learning demonstrates to future employers that you have the ability to think critically and overcome any obstacles that might stand in your way. So, that's all my point for the benefits of the online learning. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Haziq Hakimi for giving your speech and your opinion that represent as a student. So we continue our forum, which is the second panel. Muhammad Irfan bin Sufyan that represent as a teacher that will give a talk and speech about the online learning.
Okay, thank you, Nasrul. So, as a teacher, first of all, I want to say that as a consequence of the pandemic, universities were restricted to carrying out their activity with students exclusively online. So, there are a lot of benefit if we do such as online classes, especially teachers. So, um, what the benefits that can I say from my experiences? It is the way of future. Um, Online learning offers significant benefits, and for educators, it's estimated that 2019 at least 50% of all post-secondary courses will be online. So therefore, the percentage increasing to suddenly to 90% during pandemic. In this regard, teachers and lecturers are becoming more sensitive to technology on how to access to technology on how to access the classroom virtually using electronic devices to form a developing country. So I can conclude that it will create um, good teachers. Okay, so for my second point is I would say that teachers have many advantages such as lifelong learning. Well, it means if me as a teacher, we recorded a lecture, so students can replay anytime whenever they want. So the more students replay the video, so they can understand what the teachers want to say about the lecture. So there must be disadvantage about online learnings. So I would say that my first point is it has slower pace of learning. Classes are not proceeding at the usual pace, the report found. From the statistic, two-thirds of teachers said that the majority of their students were less prepared for grade level work than they were at this time last year. I mean before pandemic. So maybe the online classes are not very effective for um, not for all students. Yeah, especially for unprivileged students. Yes. So my second point is maybe the online feedback is limited. So when teacher asks some question and then yeah, feedback is limited because teacher, I mean student was too embarrassed, too shy to talk with the online virtual classes. So that's all my point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Muhammad Irfan bin Sufyan. Before we move on to our third panel, I'm just saying that I'm agree with the point that Muhammad Irfan bin Sufyan said earlier. That online learning we will learn in slow pace and we'll get more focus to student to understand the learning. Okay, without wasting time anymore, we move to our third panel, which is Muhammad Amirul Hakim bin Adlan, as represent as a student to give a disadvantage of the online learning.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to Nasrul. Okay, there may be many advantages of online learning that have been mentioned. However, the online learning also has several advantages. Okay, first of all, usually in face-to-face class, lecturer will make sure every student in the class will focus during his lecture. Students who are experiencing problem can resolve them easily and directly during the lecture, so they can understand the lecturer easily and have a better understanding. For many students, one of the biggest challenges of online learning is the struggle with focusing on the screen for a long period of time. With online learning, there is also a great chance for students to be easily distracted by social media. Other than that, overexposure to screen can be one of the disadvantages for students. Online learning requires electronic screen gadget to conduct the class. Students have to stare into the screen for a long hour. Sometimes it will take 2 to 3 hours continuously. Such a long exposure to screen has its own impacts on health. It may cause headache, poor vision, and other physical problems. Okay, last but not least, internet connection problem. When there is a problem with your internet system, online learning will be impossible. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Muhammad Amirul Hakim, for your talk about disadvantages of online learning. We continue our forum to Muhammad Fakhrul Ikhwan bin Bazli that represent as a parents that will talk about online learning for their daughter. So we continue to Muhammad Fakrul.
Thank you, Nasrul, as a moderator. Hello, my name is Muhammad Fakrul Ikwan. Today, I'm going to talk about the disadvantages of online learning to the parents. First of all, as we know, when this pandemic happened, our country's economic sector became worse. There's a lot of people are losing their jobs, the amount of their salary decreasing, and others. The world are exchanged to be fully online as well as the learning sector. The teacher must teach in online and the student must study online at their home. So this will cause some problem to their parents, which is to spend some of their savings to buy some gadget for their kids to attend the online classes. It is not a problem to the rich family, but it is a big deal to the moderate family and some family that has lost their job or financial source that only have money for their food. So it will affect their child's learning. Next, some of parents and families who do not have the perfect device and internet, especially those who are living in rural areas. This 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 will affect on online learning method because their area may not have a strong internet network or maybe not exist at all. So the information transfer may be delayed because of it. This will further complicate the virtual learning process, which is fully online and makes the full use of internet. Last point, there are also parents who lack in IT knowledge. It is very difficult to understand and use platforms such as Google Meet, WebEx, and so on. So when their kids having a problem connect with their class, they don't have any people to ask for. Apart from that, the kids will not having a good day with it and will be left behind. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Fakrul for your opinion on the online class learning. Last but not least, we continue to our last panel, which is Muhammad Akif bin Muhammad Sis, that playing a role as a student that will give a suggestion about the online learning. Welcome. Okay.
Okay, as a student, I noticed there are tons of ways to improve online learning for the better. First, lecturers and teachers can use interactive learning online platform like Kahoot, Edpuzzle, or Quizzes. The usage of this platform is to make learning more enjoyable. And since everyone owns a PC, this website will be far more accessible than before. Next, it should be mandatory for all teachers to record and upload their online classes, so anyone with bad internet connection or a student that need to refer to past classes can have access to the recording easily. Furthermore, all schools and universities need to choose only one video conference platform to be used for their classes. The reason behind this is sometimes the teacher's class link will be mixed up with another teacher that is using different platform. Things might get confusing for the first timer and troublesome for students as they need to download a couple apps. Finally, there should be a whole mood for the student when he is temporarily not in class. Let's say when a student goes to the toilet or grab some food, he can be on hold and tell everyone that he is not there. Then the teacher will avoid calling his name to answer question. The whole mood will have timer, so the teacher will know exactly how long the student is gone to avoid any abuse. E-learning does have tons of advantage and disadvantage, but it is useful so that we should not abolish it. I hope my suggestion will help to eliminate those disadvantages. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Muhammad Akif bin Muhammad Sis for your suggestion. Okay, for the conclusion, what I can conclude is online learning is have their own advantages and disadvantages. In some manner, online classes are more beneficial than traditional education. For example, we can see the result of SPM 2020 candidates that are using online learning are better in previous 5 years. This can conclude that students nowadays are more comfortable with online learning more than traditional education. So I think that's all from our group that doing a forum that the topic of the forum is online learning. So I think that's all from us. Is there anyone to give more? I think no one, right? So we can end the forum here. So I end the forum. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.